Hello everyone, Fanta here. You're watching FANTAVISION, and today we are discussing what it's like working at GameStop, or really, kind of anywhere when a bad game comes out. Because unfortunately, not only are the customers affected by a game coming out and being terrible, not only are the developers people that really didn't want to put the game out before it was done and their executives made them, but also the people that work at stores that sell video games are also caught in the crossfire, especially if you work at GameStop, because it's such a small store, it's known for video games, and the clientele isn't always so bright. The main catalyst for this video and why I thought I should do it is because there have been quite a few games that have come out that are huge disappointments, and also because Cyberpunk just keeps getting worse, and I wanted to talk about what it was like from the perspective of a person selling these games. Because unfortunately, the mindset that it's your fault that this game is terrible, even though all you did was sell it to the customer and you were just as excited as they were. Sometimes they trash the store, or they yell at you, they swear at you, they get very, very upset with you when you have to uphold that store policy that this opened game cannot be returned. I think Cyberpunk, though, actually was able to be returned at certain stores, even though it was opened, just because it was that much of a nightmare. Isn't that amazing? I can't think of another game that has broken policy like that, been kicked off of the digital store before. Games that definitely should have, like Fallout 76, but wow, that is... wow. But just like Fallout 76 and a lot of other games that came out in less than a stellar state and were just completely covered up with lies before the game came out, overpromised what it was going to be, there's been a lot of anger. And a lot of that anger is directed towards you because they think that you're lying to them. Now, I'm not going to defend all employees, because some employees, of course, do lie to the customer even after the game is out already and already a disaster. Sometimes they'll just try to sugarcoat it. I remember seeing my fellow coworkers do that, and I was like, what is wrong with you? You can't do that. And I got in trouble for being honest about video games and the state that they were in. So yeah, there are definitely employees that deserve the anger, but when a game just comes out, all that information that they're feeding you before you buy the game, it's not like they're making it up. It's not like they're told by the developers and the studios, like, hey, it's not really going to be this good. Just say this. And just say this, and just say this is in the game. It's like, no. We're getting all the same information that you're getting. We don't get any insider info. We get all the same insider info that all of those incredibly popular content creators get. They get to go play the game for a couple of hours in a canned demo, and we're getting the same info from them that you are. So when they're hyping up the game, saying it's amazing, like everybody did 5 months out from Cyberpunk, that's what we all think. We all think the game is going to be amazing. We think it's going to be the next groundbreaking experience, and unfortunately, it rarely ever is, especially nowadays. But I had so many customers come in and cuss me out and freak out just because I had to uphold that store policy, which is, for every video game. And we have to direct them towards the companies that made these games, because GameStop didn't make this game, Walmart didn't make it, Target, Best Buy, all these different stores are not responsible for this game being a broken, horrible mess. You could argue, well, they are selling it. At that point, I feel like they should take the game off the shelves, and they should start some sort of lawsuit against the company that had blatant false advertising, which I'd say pretty much all of these games have done. And it shouldn't be on the consumer to believe that a product that they're buying day one is gonna work, They shouldn't have to think like, oh, this is probably just gonna be a broken mess. Nobody thinks that when they're buying a game, unless they're a critic that is buying a game after they already know it's broken and playing it for the laughs or seeing if it ever improves, like I did with Fallout 76. I bought that game knowing it was a broken disaster, And as the updates rolled out, I kept going back and playing the game and streaming it to see if there was any progress towards it being a fun game. And of course, no. But beyond that, I don't think it should be on the customer. That's why it's so frustrating whenever I hear people getting very upset at people for buying games day one. It's like, can you really blame them, especially for some of these games? Like companies that have perfect track records. But I'll get more into that in tomorrow's video when I talk about whether or not we should ever be hyped for video games again after this just keeps happening. But when it comes to putting the blame on the people working in the retail, I mean, yes, put the blame on the retailer if you want to. You can do that. You can say, I mean, there's the logic saying, well, this product does not work. I should be able to return it. I get that logic, but at the same time, if you just wait until you see critics come out day one talking about the experience, you watch popular streamers talk about the game, you keep the game sealed, don't open it, wait for other people to experience it and let you know if it's good, which seems to be what you have to do with every game these days, and then open it when you know, yes, this game works, this game is fun, and I'm gonna play it now. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't do that. When they pre-order a game, they go through the whole pre-order process, or they pre-order digitally and they're screwed, and they play it and it's just going to be a bad experience for them. They're going to get pissed and they're going to take it out on the people that are just on the front lines of retail, instead of getting mad at the retailer or getting mad at the studio itself and all the executives. And normally when I do these videos, I talk about how we were able to solve the customer's issue, how we dealt with it, but the only way we could really deal with it, unfortunately, was just to tell people that we couldn't do anything about it. We basically just had to tell people, sorry, do you want to trade it in? Which just felt so bad. I felt awful whenever it was day one, somebody just bought a game and it's crap and they can't return it. I feel so bad. Like, you have no idea how bad I wanted to give people returns that weren't dicks about it, but I couldn't because that wasn't the policy and I would have gotten in trouble if I had done so. And then people got, justifiably upset that they could not return this broken game. But of course they're getting mad at me and there's nothing I can do about it. And back when I worked at GameStop, there was never a game that was given the Cyberpunk exception. I don't know if any other game has been given this exception before. I know there's like some sort of like guarantee that GameStop has been doing recently where if the game, you don't like it, in the first couple of days you can bring it back and you'll get trade-in credit, which is how they're kind of getting around. I see what they're doing there. They're able to show that their trade-in credit numbers are up. They're able to have that game used in stock. They're able to do a lot of different things that are great. They're able to force you to purchase something from their store with that trading credit, but it also is good for the customer because if the game is as bad as Cyberpunk, you can at least put it towards something else. And that's honestly something I think all stores should adopt. I'm not going to just go after the customer here for being upset because I think they have every right to be upset when a game comes out in a broken state and they're unable to return it. I get the frustration. I've dealt with that before. Before I even worked in retail, I had games do that. Now, it had nothing to do with it being broken for everybody. It just didn't work on my computer for some reason, and I was unable to return it even though I had just bought it. And it was frustrating, but I had to kind of accept it and go, well, I guess that's what I get for buying a new game and not 100% knowing that it's going to work on my computer, even though it met all the requirements. But I think retailers honestly should follow in GameStop's footsteps. I don't think I've ever said that before, but I think they should follow in GameStop's footsteps and give people maybe not their full cash back, but give them the value of the game back, a full refund in the store's gift card. Because at least they're gonna shop at the store, something like that. However, the reason I don't think other retailers do this, it's because they don't have a used market. Whereas GameStop, they can generate really good looking revenue on paper at least by having that big trade-in come in and then sell that used game later. So that has gotten them trade-in credit shown. It has also shown that they are selling lots of used stuff, which is where all their profit is. So they can look at how much profit we made off of this game that just came out, even though they gave them exactly what it was worth in trade-in credit, which, you could also argue is why when they reprinted Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii, we got new copies and then opened them and sold them as used. They could have been trying to do something funky with the numbers. At least that's my opinion on that matter. I mean, genuinely, I have to applaud GameStop for that game guarantee, game satisfaction. I don't know, remember what it's called, game satisfaction guarantee. I don't know how many titles they've done that with. I know they've done it with a couple, but I think they should do it for all of them. All I can really say is that I'm glad that I don't have to work at GameStop anymore for, I mean, an infinite number of reasons, but especially with all of these games coming out that are just a horrible failure, where they've had all these promises, they've been told by the GameStop people all this time about how amazing it is. The TVs are constantly cycling ads for those games, reinforcing how good the games are, and then they come out and they're a complete disaster, and it's like, yeah, of course that's going to get people pissed. You hype people up to the extreme, and then it came out, it was a terrible disappointment. Thankfully though, because Cyberpunk has been able to be returned, we haven't seen the Fallout 76 thing, where this guy just completely trashes the store, happening again, because I feel like if they had not done that, we definitely would have seen a lot more people, a lot more man-children, sorry, let me correct that, not just people, man-children, coming in and destroying property over being unable to get a refund for a video game. And really, I know a lot of people, for some reason, think this guy's a hero. A lot of people, I've already talked about this like 2 years ago when it happened, but I want to address it again. There are so many people that celebrate when somebody destroys a store or yells at the store retail people that are just doing their jobs, selling video games and upholding store policies when a bad game comes out. Whenever this sort of thing happens, like, oh good, retribution for the bad game. GameStop didn't make the game. None of those places made the game. These people should not be celebrated. They should be made fun of for being horrible people that do not know how to function in a normal society. I mean, I can't imagine how long it took to clean up this horrible mess that this one person left because he couldn't get a refund, even though you never can. I mean, these people are making minimum wage, maybe a little bit more, and they got to deal with people like this on a daily basis. It's just absurd that these people get celebrated, and I don't think they should be. What's sad and also kind of funny in retrospect is that sometimes even when a game had a great launch, it was almost as bad as if the game launched in a terrible state, because Skyrim sold like hotcakes. It sold out at like pretty much every GameStop that I remember. We tried calling other stores to help people to get more copies, but if we couldn't get somebody a copy, and we just had to say, well, I mean, you should have pre-ordered it. Like, this is why we have pre-orders. So if a game does sell out, which rarely happens, but if it does, then you're guaranteed one, we would get sworn out again. I mean, there's always a reason for somebody cussing you out when you're working in retail, unfortunately. But there you go. I just wanted to kind of reminisce on some of the past launch experiences and having to deal with it. I remember there was some like free running game, some sort of, I don't remember what it was called even. It's such a forgettable game. It had like a blue title and it was really hyped up, and then it came out. Brink, that's what it was. That game was a terrible, terrible game, and it was super hyped up, but I kind of saw in the distance that it wasn't going to be good. I remember it was like, I don't know, it seems a little overhyped, and then it came out, and it was just a hot pile of garbage. And that had a lot of people very frustrated. I know Destiny was another one of those games where a lot of people were very upset, myself included. Yeah, it's just a lot of really disappointing games that have come out over the years, and because of that, a lot of people get pissed. Let me know in the comments down below what title you got really upset about coming out, or if you have worked in retail and have had to deal with these people and what extremes they went. I really want to know just how bad some of these people get, because they get pretty bad. And of course, like the video if you haven't already, subscribe for more content, and as always, have a fantastic day. See you, everybody. Today I'm drinking the Dankful IPA, 7.4%, generously hoppy. Yeah, it just tastes like hops. It tastes like you're drinking citrusy marijuana, if you like that sort of thing. I don't know. It's okay. I like bitter flavors, and it's a very bitter herbal flavor, so I'm all right with it. So yeah, tomorrow look forward to a new video. course, come to the stream tonight. But yeah, look forward to the new video tomorrow about whether or not we should ever be hyped about games again. Because I've been wondering that lately. Can we? Should we?